Hello and welcome to Gardening with Ben's podcast. I hope that you're enjoying the podcast so far. Remember to click that subscribe button on whatever platform you're listening to so that you get notified when new podcasts come up. And remember to follow me on all my social media channels, Gardening with Ben on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. And in the description is a link to my merchandise shop where we sell some fantastic gardening t-shirts and hoodies for you to wear down in the garden or when you're out and about. So grab yourself a brew, sit back, relax and enjoy today's episode. Hello everyone and welcome to Gardening with Ben. We're now in September. This year has just flown by. I don't know what you think, but it seems to be getting faster and faster. I think it's just an age thing really. Time does seem to really fly by. But yeah, it's starting to get to the end of the year. September is a fantastic month. It's a great month for harvesting, especially fruit. It's one of the main months for harvesting all your fruit from your fruit trees. You'll be getting some abundant crops. I know I will be. So yeah, it's going to be a busy month down at the plot. So in today's episode we're going to be talking about what you can still plant in September. You may think, oh, there's not much to be planting at this time of year, but no, there certainly is. And we will be going through everything what you can plant this month. So now it's obviously getting colder. But you can still plant plenty. So we're going to be starting off with what vegetables you can plant this month. So the first up is garlic. Now usually you can wait until about mid to the end of September to plant your garlic. And last year all I did was purchase the bulbs from the supermarket and split them up into the cloves and planted them because I couldn't get hold of any actual ones from the garden centre, and they actually did grow really well, so I'm going to be doing that again this year. So buying your garlic bulbs and get ready to plant them at the end of September. Next up is green manure. Now this is something I've never actually tried myself, but as your beds start to become empty and nothing is growing in it, sow some green manure seeds, and this will prevent the weeds from growing in them. And also once it's ready, you cut it down and dig it into the soil, and it feeds the nutrients back into the soil, helping crops in later time. So why not give green manure a try? Why not try planting some lettuce, as lettuce can actually be grown this month, and you can get winter varieties of lettuce. So have a look when you're buying your lettuce seeds that you're choosing winter varieties, and if you've got a polytunnel or greenhouse, you can grow them in there and they'll do really well. If it's colder outside, you can even put a cloche over them just to keep them warm and keep them growing. You can also try growing onions this month. You can get onion varieties for autumn, and these can be filled in a bed, and you can sow these sets. These will be ready around June time. This will probably be the last month to try growing radish. Radish is obviously the fastest growing vegetable, and you can have some great results with it. So just sprinkle some straight into your beds and watch them grow and harvest them, hopefully at the end of September, middle of October. Spinach, you can be sowing this now in the polytunnel or in the greenhouse. Planting it indoors will give you harvests through autumn and winter. Spring cabbage, these can be sown this month into small plant pots or into seed trays. Make sure they're kept in a warm greenhouse to help them germinate and get started. Spring onions, you can grow winter hardy varieties and sprinkle them straight into the ground outdoors for harvesting in springtime. Turnips can also be sown this month straight in the ground, so why not try growing some turnips this month. Next up, we are looking at what fruit can be planted in September. There's only two which usually can plant in September, and these are strawberries. Keep planting them strawberry plants out. If they're sending the runners out, get them into the ground, get them rooted, and you will have extra strawberry plants next year, and you can never have enough strawberry plants. And that is coming from me with about 200 plants on the plot. And then finally, if you're wanting to plant some rhubarb, order your crowns and plant them out in October, as October is the month for planting out your rhubarb crowns, as they will become dormant, and obviously the wetter weather will help them take root into the ground. So get ordering your rhubarb crowns to plant out in October. Next up, we're going to look at flowers. Now you need to start looking towards springtime, as now a lot of the shops will be having the spring bulbs in, and now is the time to be planting your daffodils, your hyacinth bulbs, and your crocus bulbs. Don't plant your tulip bulbs yet. Wait until around November to plant your tulip bulbs, as they can get diseases around now, so don't plant your tulip bulbs yet. Aquilegia, these can be sown in the greenhouse this year, ready for flowering next year. Same again for calendula. These can be sown this month in the greenhouse or polytunnel for blooms next year. I actually start mine off in around March, April time, and they actually do really well, which I'm sure you've seen from all the photos I've shared of them. So yeah, they are a must to have in the garden and allotment. Cornflowers, these can bring amazing colour to the garden. They come in various amounts of colours nowadays, so why not directly sow some outdoors for great blooms next year. Delphiniums, these can be sown outdoors now, ready for amazing displays next summer. Hollyhocks, these are great for the bees, so why not try growing some. You can sow them in the greenhouse and you'll get blooms next year. Poppies, you can sow annual poppies or Californian poppies outside this year, ready for beautiful flowers next year. And obviously if you've got poppies what you're growing in the garden, they'll have got the heads on them. Dry them out and sprinkle them all over the garden and get some flowers growing for them bees. Red hot pokers, you could always try growing some of them. You can sow them this month and they will have beautiful flowers next year. Salvias, these are very popular and they can be expensive from the garden centre, so why not try sowing some yourself in seed trays or in pots in the greenhouse, and these will be ready for next year. Violas, a bit like pansies, these can be sown this month and they will add some beautiful colour in the springtime for you to enjoy in the garden, and violas certainly do add a lot of colour to the garden. So those are all the tips on what flowers, vegetables and fruit you can sow this month. And looking at them lists, I'm actually going to try and start some of them flowers off myself, as I had so many nice flowers this year, and a lot of them obviously do need to be started this year, ready for flowering next year. So join me and try and grow some of these beautiful flowers on your plot. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Remember to leave a comment on the platform if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, because the reviews do help boost it up for other people to see the podcast as well. And make sure you share it on your Instagram stories as well that you've listened to it, as it does help get the reach out there, and the more people that listen, the better we have. So yeah, I'm really getting some good listening figures, and I'm really pleased that everybody's enjoying these podcasts. So as always, I hope you have a great day, and remember, keep gardening. Thank you for listening to today's episode. We hope you've enjoyed Gardening with Ben. Remember to do click that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the podcasts what are launched, and check out the link in my bio to my fantastic shop selling some fantastic t-shirts and hoodies for you to wear down at the allotment. And you can also get a Gardening with Ben mug, so feel free to check it out, and remember, keep gardening.